Way. I'm a fucking man of my word. And all the people that fucking said I couldn't do it, it's Paro time!
Welcome fight fans to my channel. This is Johnny, and today we're going to go over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this past weekend's IBF world title fight between Liam Paro and Subriel Matias.
Liam Paro did not come in with that type of game plan. He came in to score points. He came in to stick and move.
Guys, we had a huge weekend of boxing. If you're a boxing head like me, you were going back and forth between the Tank Davis and Frank Martin fight and the Liam Paro and Subriel Matias fight. I was live streaming the Tank fight, my live commentary, so I had to watch the Paro fight after it had happened. I found out the decision what happened before I watched the fight. I did my due diligence. I watched the world title fight, and in this video I'm going to talk about some of the statistics that maybe aren't too well aware of what happened last night in Puerto Rico. When that fight got announced, Liam Paro started as a 7-1 underdog. As it got closer and closer to the fight, he closed at a 6-1 underdog. And I did a video last week individually on how Matias beats Paro and how Paro beats Matias. And I talked about it'd be wise for Liam to go in there and try to box Matias. Not do what Matias' last opponents have tried to do, match power with power, play his game, and get knocked out. If you do that and that's not your style, if you're not a knockout artist, you'll run out of gas. And we've seen in Matias' career time and time again, his opponents will retire on the stool because they got nothing left to offer. And this is what I said last week about how Paro beats him. I think Paro is gonna do is steal early rounds, try to stay competitive in the mid rounds, and during the later rounds, pour it on Matias and win a decision. I don't really see Paro knocking Matias out, so if he wins, it'll be that ring IQ going to the cards, and he just has to hope and pray that he doesn't get a fix down in Puerto Rico. Now, I wasn't all correct because later on in the week, I did a prediction video on where to put your money, gambling, and I have to admit, I'm an honest guy. I put my money on Matias. So unfortunately, I didn't win money on Paro, but I told you guys my heart was with Paro, but my wallet was with Matias, and I was wrong 50%. Anyway, when the judges read their scorecards out, Paro won a decision unanimously. 2 cards had it 115 to 112, 1 card had it 116 to 111. Some of my friends in Australia who were scoring the fight, they said it wasn't that close. Some controversy about the fight that I want to talk about is what the ref and how the ref was handling Paro throughout the fight. In my opinion, it was a disgusting display of trying to limit a fighter's momentum. Anybody who's been in there and anybody who knows anything about high-level competitive sports, momentum is equally as important in winning as anything else, as your game plan. Momentum is a huge psychological factor. The referee did his part to break up Liam's momentum. He even deducted Paro a point, which was crazy for rabbit punches in the back of the head. And if you watch boxing enough, you'll know that Paro was not warranted that rabbit punch. All in all, like I said in the video last week, Paro wins the decision and he just has to hope and pray that the fix isn't on. And I gotta be honest, even though I had known Paro won the fight before I watched the fight, I was still kind of nervous hearing the judges read out the scorecards. Next, I want to talk about the purses, the fight purses. Nothing compared to what Tank Davis and Frank Martin made in America, but you got to think Liam Paro has huge paydays ahead. This fight, the fight purse was $500,000 US. 300,000 of it went to Subriel, 200,000 went to Liam Paro. But Paro now sits as one of 4 champions at 140 pounds, and he's the only undefeated one if the loss from Garcia to Haney withstands. So the 4 champions, you have Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Pitbull Cruz, and Liam Paro. Liam Paro was quite the Nostradamus type when he said this earlier in fight week.
Man, I believe I can get the job done, and I am the captain of the division.
Ready to shock the world, baby. Woo!
Now I want to go over some of the commentary globally on how the boxing pundits scored and perceived the Paro versus Matias fight and decision. Liam Paro produced the performance of a lifetime to dethrone Subriel Matias in his own backyard and claim the IBF Super Lightweight World title in a major boxing boilover. Paro, who was a 5-1 underdog at the time of the fight started, but started as a 7-1 when the fight was called, beat the Puerto Rican unanimously 115 to 112 twice and 116 to 111 in front of a raucous crowd at the Coliseum Juan Uben Cruz Abreu in Manatee, Puerto Rico. The fight was not without controversy though, as referee Luis Pabon was bizarrely overzealous in admonishing Paro throughout with a point deduction in round 7, branded disgusting by DAZN commentator Chris Mannix. Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn branded Paro's performance as an absolute masterclass in boxing and lauded the Aussie for having the guts to take over the boogeyman of the super lightweights. He pushed him back, he boxed off his back foot. It was an absolute masterclass. I had it wider than the judges had it, said Hearn.
It wasn't even close. It was a masterclass from Liam Paro. And to come to Puerto Rico, to the backyard of the guy that nobody wanted to fight, that is a massive win for Liam Paro, a massive win for Australian boxing.
Guys, that is that. Hopefully you listened to me half-heartedly when I talked about how Paro was going to go about his business, but hopefully you didn't listen to me when I said where to put your money on, because I was wrong. Kudos to Liam Paro. I can admit when I was wrong, and I won't bet against you again. He is undefeated. He's standing atop the mountaintop. There is so many fights to make in that division. The last question I'm going to ask you guys, of the champions, who unifies? Who do you want to see fight who? Also, order them 1 through 4. Who's the king at 1 and who's sitting at the bottom at 4? Let me know all that in the comment section below.